All right, so it's about that time for an updated 2017 NBA mock draft. It's only a one-round edition this time, and you can check out all 30 picks in the description box down below. Oh, Betty. Isn't it exciting? No, not really. I mean, at least I can say this, is that mercifully, the NBA season is drawing to a relatively rapid conclusion, and this year's draft class at least has some interesting talent. It looks to be a good draft class. So it helps my interest in the NBA draft at least just a little bit. Now, in terms of the scenario, the thought process for this particular mock draft, there were two things at play. What happens if Lonzo Ball doesn't go number 2 to the Lakers? And then two, trying to factor in a couple of trades. And in terms of the trade component of this mock draft, for me, it's really hard to project potential trades in any mock draft, but especially with the NBA, because, for example, you have teams like Portland that have 3 first-round picks. Orlando, the Lakers, the Nets, they have 2 first-round picks. Could those teams look to package those picks and get up higher in the draft? Could you be looking at a situation where teams are looking to sell off one or more of those? Are they just going to stand pat and take 2 players that can play right away? Maybe one of them plays and one of them's a draft and stash guy. There's all types of things. It's really hard to know. Some of it can be salary cap constraints in terms of dictating what the team is going to do. So I ended up mocking 3 trades in this mock draft. One was Portland taking picks 15 and 20 and moving up to number 10 to where Sacramento is picking, which I think would be a mutually beneficial arrangement for both parties. Look, Portland's got 3 first-round picks. I don't know if they can afford, based off of their current cap situation, giving dumb dick money to guys like Crabbe and Evan Turner on top of the max contracts they already paid Lillard and McCollum. They're going to have to get creative with some of the things they do. And for them, having all these first-round picks may sound great in theory, but they might not want to carry that much in terms of the salary cap space that would have to be associated with it. Furthermore, they might want to look at one guy potentially having a little bit more impact, especially in the front court. And that's kind of what I have them going for here, getting Zach Collins from Gonzaga. From Sacramento's standpoint, they are a team that needs as many first-round picks as possible. And since we are in a good draft class, it makes sense for Sacramento to try and accumulate potentially even more draft pick currency. And in this case, this scenario actually gives them 3 first-round picks, will be very beneficial for them. First, getting De'Aaron Fox, number 5. I think they really like him. And I don't think Fox would mind that much playing in Sacramento, at least some of the vibe that I get from him. So it could be a good natural fit. And if you're the Sacramento Kings, the fact that anybody would actually want to go play for your organization has to be considered a big win and has to make that guy somebody that you put towards the top of your draft board. That's just the way it is. And then getting guys like Justin Jackson and Terrance Ferguson, you're kind of balancing it out. You're getting some help on the wings to go along with Buddy Hield with your new point guard and De'Aaron Fox. You get a guy like Justin Jackson, who has experience, national championship experience at North Carolina. Might just be a role player at the NBA level, but he's a guy that could be able to contribute. And a guy like Terrance Ferguson, you're gambling on the athletic upside and hoping that he can piece it together in a couple of years. The bottom line is it's going to be a long road to hoe for Sacramento no matter what. I think this draft would at least be a good step in the right direction. But again, they have a lot of work to do. And furthermore, I really have absolutely zero confidence that their current administration will do anything right. I've got Philadelphia peeling up from the second round, sending off picks 36 and 39 to get up to Toronto's spot at 23. You look at Toronto, they got to think about re-signing Kyle Lauri. Do they really need the first-round pick? Is that first-round pick going to do anything for them? From the 76ers standpoint, being able to get somebody like a TJ Leaf, getting somebody a stretch 4, assuming they might be able to move Okafor. It gives them some options coming off of the bench with Embiid and Saric. It gives them an offensive threat in the front court, helps spacing the floor, potentially for Ben Simmons and who they end up taking in this draft at pick number 3. And for the 76ers, to me it makes sense because how many of those second-round picks are you going to want to spend on draft and stash guys? At some point in time, you got to get rid of some of those second-round picks and get some additional first-rounders because bottom line is you just need talent. And one of the things I think is glaringly missing on the roster are bigs that can shoot. And right here, TJ Leaf gives them another guy that could do just that. Then I've got the New York Knicks basically buying Portland's first-round pick at 26, giving them a future second-round pick and maybe $2 to $3 million cash. It sounds like the Knicks want to desperately get back up and get a second pick in round number 1, which makes a lot of sense. That's why I've got him taking Tyler Lydon, the small forward from Syracuse. He's a guy that is an intriguing prospect to me, can do some nice things, got some athleticism, and he can shoot. And you're talking about a team potentially looking to move on life after Carmelo at the small forward position. It would make sense for them to invest in that position at some point in time in the first round of this draft. So those are the trades. In terms of the other big thing that you're really going to notice with this mock draft is that I've got Josh Jackson going number 2 to the Lakers. And part of that is stemming from the recent reports from, I think, Chris Broussard and others out there on the interwebs that the Lakers aren't sold, that Lonzo Ball is a star. They have concerns about LeVar and his influence over his son. They're 50-50, and if anything, if the pick was to be made right now, they wouldn't take him, and they might not take him unless he absolutely wows them in the workout. And I got to say this isn't coming out of nowhere. This buzz is coming out of somewhere. It is coming straight from the Los Angeles Lakers intentionally, and here's why. They want to send a message to Lonzo, and in particular LeVar Ball. They're saying, yes, we like your son. We would like to have him. But 1, we're not going to put up with his shit. Number 2, don't feel this is a foregone conclusion that you could just sleepwalk through the draft process and you're automatically entitled to that second overall pick. You're not. Maybe they're hoping that somebody would potentially get desperate for a guy like a Fox or a Josh Jackson. Maybe somebody like Sacramento really wants a De'Aaron Fox, and they try to jump up to 2. I mean, it's about options. It's about leverage. And right now, the Lakers are trying to exercise whatever leverage they have to tell Lonzo Ball and his father at this point in time that we're not going to put up with that shit. We need to see more out of you. And it's no guarantee that you're going to be our pick. So make us do it. Put us in the corner where we have no other choice but to take you. So those rumors, to me, it's not just about where there's some smoke, there's fire. These are legit rumors. And the reason they're legit rumors is because the Los Angeles Lakers released said rumors with a purpose, which I completely understand and I completely get. Because especially if Boston's going to take Fultz at number 1, if you're the Lakers, other than Fultz, you have your choice of anybody else in the draft. So why would you feel like you have to tip your hand at this point in time? Why would you sit there and give any indication that this is the guy you have to take? Especially with us being still a few weeks away from the NBA draft, why wouldn't you try to keep all types of contingencies and options open as much as you possibly can? And try to send a message and multiple messages at the same time. Frankly, telling Lonzo to nut up and man up a little bit, telling him you need to see more, that you're not entitled to it and you haven't proven shit, and telling LeVar, most importantly of all, to get out of the way and shut the fuck up. I mean, because, when all is said and done, what's LeVar Ball going to do? Tell Magic Johnson how to play point guard at the NBA level? Bitch, please. Bitch, please. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I think it's 50-50 right now, whether they take Lonzo Ball or not. I think when all is said and done, they very well could, although I would not be surprised if they ended up not taking him. In terms of who they would take at that space, Josh Jackson would seem to be the winner there because you get that versatile two-way defense plus wing type of player. When all is said and done, though, it seems like Lonzo Ball is the natural fit and he has to go there. But in this case, if he doesn't, I think Lonzo and LeVar shouldn't be that upset with him going to Philadelphia. I know it's not LA. I know it's not the second biggest media market in the country, but Philadelphia is one of the 10 biggest media markets in the country. Allen Iverson was a massive star in Philadelphia. Other athletes throughout the years have been massive stars in Philadelphia. Just because you're not in Los Angeles doesn't mean that you can't make mega bucks, period. If you're good enough, everybody in today's world will know about you and you can make a shit ton of money. And when you look at the situation, would you rather go in the Western Conference where you potentially have the Warriors as a roadblock for the next several years? Or would you want to potentially take your chances with an aging LeBron and the Cavaliers core on the Eastern Conference side of things? For me, the Eastern Conference has been the weaker conference for almost 20 years now. I'd rather go to the East. And when you look at Philly, if Embiid is healthy, he's a stud. You've got Ben Simmons, last year's number 1 overall pick. Be curious to see what he can do. You've got Dario Saric. Maybe you're able to pop off Okafor for something via trade. Maybe you're able to get some shooting on the wing. Maybe you could do something else. Who knows? But it's not all that bad in Philadelphia. And if Alonzo Ball can come in and be that franchise type of point guard, the Philadelphia 76ers will be making the playoffs by the 2019 season, if not this upcoming season. And you could put me on record as saying so. And when you look at the climate of the Eastern Conference, you're talking about a team right now that is a little bit on the upswing, all the while the powers that be at the top, most notably the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're where they're at, but there's going to be a decline at some point in time. Who's going to be that team that steps into the fold in 3 to 4 years and takes that mantle of ownership of the Eastern Conference? Right now, you might argue that the Boston Celtics, especially drafting a Markelle Fultz, would be in prime position, and they very well could be, but who's to say that the Philadelphia 76ers couldn't be? So to me, if they were able to get Lonzo Ball, it would be a coup for them. And frankly, I think it wouldn't be that bad of a situation for Lonzo Ball either. I think LeVar Ball would have to shut up and be happy about it because it's not a bad situation. You know, you'd have somebody else in Ben Simmons that could be a creator off the dribble, take some of the pressure off of him, but he would still have plenty of opportunity to facilitate and lead the way. It's not a bad option at all. That's just my opinion on it. But anyways, you can check out my mock. I'm not going to talk about anything else at this point in time. I'll be back next week with another mock draft. It'll probably be another 2-round edition. Let me know your thoughts on the picks and the trades and everything else in the comments section below. I'll see you later.